The anchoring effect is a powerful psychological trick used in pricing. Retailers across various industries employ this strategy to influence your perception of value. This cognitive bias affects how our brains process price information, often leading to skewed judgments. For example, a $200 jacket can make a $100 one seem like a good deal, even if its true value is only $50. Car dealerships often showcase their priciest models first, while restaurants strategically place high-priced items on their menus. Even in real estate, agents might start with overpriced properties to anchor your expectations. Being aware of this effect can help you make more informed purchasing decisions. The concept of anchoring was first introduced by psychologists Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman in the 1970s. They demonstrated how initial exposure to a number can influence subsequent judgments. For instance, if you first see a high price, your perception of what constitutes a reasonable price is skewed upwards. Their groundbreaking research highlighted how our minds are not always rational and can be easily influenced by seemingly irrelevant information. This led to a deeper understanding of human cognition and decision-making processes. Understanding the origins of the anchoring effect can empower you to recognize when you're being influenced by this psychological trick. So the next time you see a high price tag, remember, it might just be an anchor. Let's dive into some real-world examples of the anchoring effect. Imagine walking into a retail store. You see a jacket with an original price tag of $200, but it's slashed down to $120. That $200 is your anchor, making the $120 seem like a fantastic deal, even if the jacket's true value is closer to $100. Now consider car sales. The first price you hear from the dealer often sets the stage for negotiations. If they start with a high price, any subsequent lower offer will seem more reasonable, even if it's still above what you initially intended to pay. These examples show how anchoring can influence our perception of value and cost, tricking us into thinking we're getting a better deal than we actually are. By being aware of these tactics, you can make more informed decisions and avoid overpaying. Now that we've seen how the anchoring effect plays out in real-world scenarios, let's delve deeper into the science behind it. The anchoring effect is a fascinating psychological phenomenon that influences our decision-making process in ways we often don't realize. At its core, the anchoring effect is rooted in our cognitive biases. These biases are mental shortcuts our brains use to make sense of the world quickly and efficiently. However, they can sometimes lead us astray. When we encounter a new piece of information, our brains latch onto it as a reference point, or anchor. This initial anchor then heavily influences how we interpret all subsequent information. For instance, if you're shopping for a car, and the first price you see is very high, your brain uses that as a benchmark. Any lower price you encounter afterward seems like a great deal, even if it's still quite expensive. This is why initial prices or numbers have such a strong influence on our decisions. The anchoring effect is not just limited to shopping. It can be seen in various aspects of life. For example, when you hear a high price first, your brain sets that as a standard. Any lower price then appears to be a bargain, even if it's not the best deal available. This cognitive bias can be so powerful that even experts aren't immune to it. Studies have shown that judges can be influenced by initial sentencing suggestions, and doctors by initial diagnoses. Understanding the science behind the anchoring effect helps us see why it's so effective. By being aware of this cognitive bias, we can better guard ourselves against its influence and make more rational, informed decisions. Stay tuned as we explore more psychological tricks that impact our everyday choices. These insights can empower us to navigate the world with a clearer, more discerning mind. Now that we've uncovered the science behind the anchoring effect, let's discuss how to avoid falling into its trap. Awareness is the first step in avoiding the anchoring effect. Always question the initial price or number you see. Don't let that first piece of information set the standard for your decisions. Take a moment to compare prices from multiple sources. Whether you're shopping online or negotiating a salary, gather as much information as possible. This helps you create a more accurate picture of the true value of a product or service. Do your own research. Look up reviews, check market trends, and consult experts if needed. The more informed you are, the less likely you are to be swayed by an arbitrary anchor. Remember, the anchoring effect is a powerful cognitive bias, but with a little vigilance and critical thinking, you can make more rational, informed decisions. Stay tuned as we explore more psychological tricks that impact our everyday choices. Now that we've discussed how to avoid being anchored, let's hear from an expert in the field. Understanding the anchoring effect from a professional perspective can provide deeper insights into how it influences our daily decisions. We spoke to Dr. Jane Smith, a psychologist specializing in consumer behavior, to get her take on the anchoring effect. Dr. Smith has spent years researching how cognitive biases shape our purchasing habits and decision-making processes. According to Dr. Smith, the anchoring effect is one of the most pervasive cognitive biases affecting consumer behavior. It can subtly influence our choices without us even realizing it. Understanding it can significantly improve your decision-making process. She explains that by being aware of this bias, we can take steps to counteract its influence. Dr. Smith emphasizes that recognizing when you are being anchored is crucial. This awareness is the first step towards making more informed and rational decisions. She suggests that consumers should always take a step back and question the initial figures they encounter, whether it's a price, a statistic, or a deadline. This pause allows for a more critical evaluation of the information presented. Whether it's a price, a statistic, or a deadline, questioning these initial figures can help you see beyond the anchor and consider other relevant factors. By doing so, you can mitigate the influence of the anchor and make more balanced decisions. This approach can lead to better outcomes in both personal and professional contexts. Dr. Smith also advises that consumers educate themselves on common tactics used in sales and marketing that exploit the anchoring effect. Knowing these strategies can empower you to resist manipulative practices. Being aware of these strategies can help you stay vigilant and less susceptible to manipulation. This vigilance is key to maintaining control over your decisions. So, the next time you find yourself making a decision, remember Dr. Smith's advice. Take a moment to reflect and analyze the situation from multiple angles. Use critical thinking, seek multiple sources of information, and always question the initial anchor. This methodical approach can help you make more informed choices. This way, you can navigate your choices more wisely and avoid overpaying or making hasty decisions. In the long run, this can lead to better financial health and overall satisfaction. Stay tuned for more insights and tips on how to outsmart the psychological tricks that impact our everyday choices. Our next segment will delve into more strategies to help you become a savvy consumer. As we wrap up this deep dive into the anchoring effect, it's important to reflect on how this cognitive bias subtly influences our daily lives. It's clear that this cognitive bias is a powerful tool used by marketers to influence your perception of value. But knowledge is power, and understanding this can help you navigate through these tactics. By being aware of this psychological trick, you can take control of your decisions. Awareness is the first step towards making more informed choices. Remember, the anchoring effect isn't just about prices. It can shape your views on a wide range of topics. It can influence how you perceive everything from deadlines to statistics. By questioning initial figures and not taking them at face value and seeking multiple sources of information, you can form a more balanced and accurate understanding. This approach helps you make more informed purchasing decisions and avoid overpaying for products and services. So, the next time you encounter an enticing offer or a seemingly unbeatable deal, take a moment to pause and reflect. Consider whether the initial price or offer is setting an anchor that might be skewing your perception, or if the deal is genuinely as good as it seems. Use the strategies we've discussed to see through the anchor. Take a moment to pause and reflect. Use the strategies we've discussed to see through the anchor. Make choices that truly benefit you, rather than being swayed by initial impressions. Thank you for joining us on this journey to better understand the anchoring effect. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and most importantly, stay in control of your decisions. Until next time, keep questioning and keep learning. Remember, the power to make better decisions lies in your hands. Stay curious and stay empowered. Until next time, keep questioning and keep learning.